All right, period 6 and 7. I am on retreat today with 6A. I'm currently here in period 4 on Wednesday. Period 4, you want to say hi? Hi! Okay. So what I want to do today is finish up section 6 of chapter 6 finish up section 7 of chapter 6 with you in preparation for the test on Monday. I will see you on Thursday. We'll finish up whatever, and I'll finish up anything we need to. We don't finish today, or any questions that you might have during this lesson. I will answer them for you on Friday. All right. So at this point, your notes should be out. We should be copying some of these things down. Section 7 is called Unjust Desires. And we're starting with a few vocab words here, okay? There are many different ways in which we can be uncharitable. The last few sections we've been talking about charity, okay? How we should be treating other people with goodwill. All right, we talked about the difference between goodwill and emotional love. Okay, emotional love we have for our family members, maybe some close friends, but then we have goodwill towards those people that we consider acquaintances or maybe even our enemies. All right. There are many different ways that we can be uncharitable to people. Okay. Anything that is hurtful either harms oneself or another person's self or self-esteem. All of these uncharitable actions are violations against the fifth commandment, and they should be avoided. Okay. Remember, when we talk about the fifth commandment, most of the time we see the fifth commandment, the breaking of the fifth commandment, is a lack of charity. It's not necessarily separating one's body from soul. Okay, most of the time it's a lack of charity. So all of these examples would be a lack of charity. Evil, anger, revenge. Okay, evil is the result of man's decision to sin. Okay, evil not only hurts you by performing the evil action, but it also hurts those people who are victimized, those people who fall as part of your evil action. Right? It hurts the victim of the crime as well as the person committing the crime. Then we have anger. Okay, anger is like goodwill. It is a willed love. On the next slide, you'll see a nice quote. Nobody makes you angry. Anger is an emotion that you choose to respond with. Okay? When anger is unjust and unrestrained, it's a violation of the fifth commandment. Okay, it can cause one to desire to kill or seriously injure another person, and it's a grave sin. When we lose our temper, we can say or do things that we don't mean to do. We make our actions or words hurt someone. Things like yelling at someone, cursing at them, or even wishing them harm. Okay, and when we see wishing them harm, we think of the word revenge. Okay, I don't think that Hammurabi and Jesus would have seen eye to eye. Hammurabi's code is what? Eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Jesus is telling us that revenge is wrong, but Hammurabi is saying that revenge is okay. Revenge is just, yes. Okay, so when we look at revenge, it's the sinful desire to get even or even hurt someone because they have hurt us. Okay, Hammurabi tells us that if someone hurts you, you are allowed to hurt them back. I don't think Jesus would agree with that. Okay, no, revenge is never the answer. We have two more violations here of the unjust desires: hatred and cursing. All right, hatred is the sin of deliberately wishing evil upon another person. Okay, what does the word deliberately mean? Good. It means on purpose, right? Doing something on purpose, not an accident. So when we are guilty of the violation of hatred, we are deliberately wishing that something bad would happen to someone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be the first one to tell you I'm a sinful man. Okay, I sin just like you sin. I can't ever imagine being the type of person that is deliberately wishing harm on somebody. Okay, you all look at sinning a little differently. One of you might be more guilty of one commandment than another. In my eyes, I look at hatred and I say, wow, you must really not feel good about yourself if you are wishing evil upon somebody else. Another way of looking at it is if anything good happens to somebody, you are angry. Your friend gets a 92 on a test and you're upset because you only got a 91. Or you start to not like that one because they have something that you don't have. Okay, that's hatred. And then we have cursing, deliberately or wishing harm upon another, hoping that something bad could happen. Or again, here we have this quote, nobody makes you angry. You use anger as a response to what someone has done to you. So think about that the next time somebody says or does something to you and they're trying to get a rise out of you. My mother was famous, or is still famous, for using the quote, kill him with kindness. Has your mother ever said that?
Yes.
Kill her, mom or dad, kill him with kindness. The last thing the bully is expecting you to do is respond with a smile. The last thing somebody who is trying to physically hurt you or emotionally or spiritually or verbally say something negative to you, the last response they are expecting is a smile. You know what happens if you respond with a smile? You throw them off of their game. You throw them off of their game and they don't know how to respond. And then they will go to try and pick on somebody else who will give them the response of anger. Because let me tell you a little secret about somebody who is a bully. They are not happy with who they are. They are not happy with themselves. They are not happy with the decisions that they have made. So what they try to do is bring everybody down with them. So don't respond the way they want them to respond. They want you. They give you negativity. They want you to respond with negativity. They want to bring you down to their level. Instead, respond with positivity. Because the only way they know how to go is down. They spiral. They want you to come down. They want you to, if they're going to go to detention, they want everybody to go to detention. But instead, if you respond with a positive attitude, they're confused. They don't know what to do. So next time you're thinking about responding with anger, try responding with a smile. Re-record. Scandal is another violation of the fifth commandment. Scandal is the conscious and deliberate encouragement of others to sin. Let's break this down. Conscious. We know what we are doing. Okay? If we consciously do something, we know that's what we're doing. And then we have the word deliberate. I think of the line from The Lion King. Mufasa says to Simba, "You deliberately disobeyed me. You deliberately disobeyed me." Simba was told not to go into anything that the light is not touching. And what does he do? Goes into the area where the light is not touching. And Mufasa has to come and save him, and Mufasa says, "You deliberately disobeyed me. I asked you not to do this, and that is what you did." So when we talk about scandal, it is consciously, deliberately, on purpose. You know what you're doing, and you're choosing to do it. You're encouraging others to sin. Ladies and gentlemen, there can be no greater sin than scandal. No greater lack of charity. This whole chapter is about trying to point, these whole last three sections is charity, treating others with respect. If you are guilty of the sin of scandal, instead of leading others towards God, you are leading others towards Satan. You are encouraging people to do wrong and to do evil. I have some examples here, like gossip, helping someone lie to their parents, helping somebody forge mom or dad's signature on a test, okay, helping somebody cheat on an exam. And most of the time you say to yourself, well, Mr. Brennan, I'm not cheating, I'm not lying, I'm not doing that, I'm just helping somebody else do that. Okay, with scandal, you know what you're doing and you're deliberately doing it. You are deliberately leading somebody towards evil. You know what you're doing is wrong and you're doing it anyway. You know you shouldn't be giving somebody your homework to copy, but you do it anyway. You know you shouldn't be moving your Scantron over to the side of the desk so that the person next to you can see it, and you're doing it anyway. Mr. Brennan, I'm not cheating. Well, yes, you are. Mr. Brennan, I didn't lie to my parents. I just told my friend what they should say so they can lie to their parents. Mr. Brennan, I got a 92 on the test. I didn't have to forge my mom's signature. I just helped my friend practice so that they could get the signature. Look at the last line of this sentence, of this page. If you encourage or help someone commit a sin, it is as if you have committed the sin yourself. Another example. Do you think that you are going to go down for robbing a bank if you plot to rob a bank and all you do is drive the getaway car? Yes. You say, Mr. Brennan, I didn't actually go into the bank and take the money and run out. I was just ready to drive the car when they robbed the bank. That's scandal. Okay? That's a sin. Okay? The person that gives in to scandal is responsible for those other people's sins. All right? It is seriously wrong and endangers their eternal reward. Not only are you risking your chances of getting into heaven, but you are helping somebody else choose evil over good. So scandal is deliberately leading somebody down the wrong path, down the path of evil, not good. To wrap up section 7, we have an example of just anger. Okay, and the word just in my class means what?
Fair.
Fair. Okay, when we talk about anger, I would be remiss if I didn't actually tell you that there is good anger. There is anger that could motivate. Okay, if Mr. Fiore gets a promotion and gets to buy a new car, I could have a little disappointment in my heart, but if that disappointment motivates me to work harder, that's not a bad thing. If that anger in my heart turns to hatred for him, that's when it becomes sinful. So anger is not always a bad thing. Anger can help us do good, and anger can help protect the good. All right, I just have here a few things around the world that we are allowed to be angry about. Okay, people not being treated fairly. All right, poverty across the world. Abortion and euthanasia being legal in some parts of the world. We talked about the March for Life a few months ago. We sent 100 juniors down to Washington on what we call a peaceful protest on Washington. There was hundreds of thousands of people there with signs, singing songs, talking to each other, and just like a happy march on Washington to show the lawmakers this many people. There are a lot of people in the world, in the United States, that don't agree with abortion being legal. That's a way they demonstrate just anger. We are angry that abortion is legal in this country. So what do we do every year? We march on Washington to show them, to show the lawmakers that we don't like that this is legal. You have to be careful with this because there's a fine line with anger. If they were marching with pitchforks and torches, threatening to hurt or to harm buildings and people, then the word just before anger goes away. Then that just becomes anger. Okay? There are a lot of people that take matters into their own hands, as we say, and they do what they want and what they think is just. Sometimes what we think is just is not what God thinks is just. To end section 7, we see a perfect example of Jesus showing just anger. Okay? Now, I just want to give you a little heads up. This is the 4th story that we have read in this chapter from the Bible. First one was the Good Samaritan. Then we had the unforgiving servant. And then we had not one but 2 examples of Jesus forgiving others from the cross. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And today, he says to the good thief, today you will join me in paradise. This is the 4th story. How many 6th grade classes do I have? 4. I'm telling you right now, your essay for your test on Monday, I'm going to pick one of these 4 stories for you to tell me. I'm going to pick one of them. I'm going to say, tell me this story. Include a quote from the story, and tell me why we learned this story. The moral of the story is probably one of the more important things, right? You should be able to tell me why we went over this. Mr. Brennan, why did we read Jesus cleanses the temple? To show how Jesus demonstrates just anger. Why did we read the parable of the unforgiving servant? The moral of the story of the unforgiving servant? Forgive others as you have been forgiven. Okay? So know the moral of each story. All right? Jesus cleansing the temple. All right? Jesus walks into the temple to say his prayers, and what does he see? He sees like kiosks popped up all over the temple. Okay? What is a kiosk? You walk into the mall, and you have stores on the left and to the right, but then in the middle of the aisle, you have the pop-up stores, right? Where people are selling like little toys, or they're selling phone cases, stuff like that, right? Imagine those kiosks inside of the church when you went to church on Sunday. Okay? And let's just be honest, most of the time with these little pop-up stores, are you getting the best bang for your buck? No. Most of the time, they are selling something that is overpriced or too much money or something that can be found cheaper elsewhere. So these people are basically price gouging or lying, cheating, stealing from anybody that comes into the temple. First of all, when you walk into temple, you're not there to buy something, you're there to pray. And then second of all, you not only are you selling things, like you'll see here when you read the section tonight, you'll see people are buying the sacrifice. Some of the money changers are buying or selling animals for slaughter, which is part of the ritual, right? Which they need. They're selling pigeons, they're selling animals to slaughter. But if a pigeon is normally going for, 5 coins, they're selling it for 15, for 20. And guess what? What are you going to do? You're in temple, I'm the only person selling it. They're taking advantage of every person that walks into the temple. Jesus is very angry when he sees this. Being the Son of God, he walks into the temple and he sees these men and women who are lying, cheating, stealing from people who are there to worship. So Jesus fashions a whip out of rope, and he flips over the tables, and he whips all the coins off of the tables, and he drives these people out of temple. Now, his anger was just. His anger was fair. And you're going to see on the next slide how his anger was just and fair. Again, you'll read this story, period 4. You'll read it tonight for homework and complete assignment 38 for Friday. Period 6 and 7, once the video is over, I want you to read section 7 of chapter 6, and then I want you to complete the assignment by the end of class. They will be checked on Friday. Okay? So we have 3 things here on this slide that we need to know about Jesus' anger in the temple. Okay? He has the proper motivation. Okay? He's properly motivated with his anger because he sees something that disappoints him as the Son of God. His anger has the proper focus as well. His anger is only on the people who are lying, cheating, and stealing, and the actual tables themselves. He doesn't hurt anyone. As a matter of fact, when he fashions the whip, he doesn't hit anybody with the whip. He simply uses the whip to flip over the tables and to get everything out of God's house. He has the proper focus. Okay, and then he has the proper control. This is one of the most important ones. He doesn't let his emotions get the best of him. I just started this section by telling you sometimes when we are angry, we don't make proper decisions, right? Sometimes when we are angry, we are not thinking. We make the decision with our heart in a matter of 2 seconds instead of processing with our brain what has happened and then responding. Again, anger is a response that you choose. It's like love. It's like goodwill. You have to make an effort to like somebody that doesn't like you. Same thing with anger. You need to make an effort to make sure it does not get out of control. You need to make an effort to make sure that you're responding with your brain. So Jesus has proper control. He doesn't let his emotions get the best of him. Once he has got all of the money changers out of the temple, the whip goes away and he prays. Okay? Period 6 and 7, this is the end of the notes for today. With the rest of class, you should do assignment 38. We did not read Jesus Cleanses the Temple, so please make sure you read it. It's about 12 lines in your textbook. Make sure you read anything else. In section 7, look at the pop-ups and answer the questions. They will be checked on Friday. Make sure you bring any questions from this lesson in on Friday. And reminder, we have our test on Monday. Thank you very much. Have a great day. You want to say bye?